Welcome all to Walking the Weird. I am Tyler, and as with me as always is, who the fuck are you?
It's me, the one-armed man.
I don't want to be on this podcast anymore. Oh, great. They're all here. Okay. With me, we have Aaron. He's filling in. Sean has died. No moment of silence. We're going to keep going.
But just like a DC supervillain, he will rise again.
Well, if we're going to do DC, then we'll have to
We're not doing any of that. We're not doing any of that. We're not doing any of that.
None of that.
It's not the right podcast.
We ain't got the time for that.
And Andy is here as well. I mean, no. We don't need to see you. Thank you.
Oh, well. All right, cool.
He's
Hey,
begrudgingly.
look, it's me.
He's still talking. Oh, my God. Anyway, I kind of wanted Aaron to come on and just... we have a discussion about... You love cryptids.
You know what? I love cryptids. I love the paranormal, the supernatural. You know, to an extent, I wouldn't say that I'm like an expert or I know.
So you're an expert of it. Okay.
No, hell no.
So
Nowhere near.
jackalope. What do we rate in jackalope?
So on a scale of 1 to Googleplex, I would say probably he's on a 1.
A what? Really?
He's not like an intimidating like cryptid.
He's not supposed to be intimidating. You don't know that. What does he eat?
He eats regular ass fucking rabbit food. Like,
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
That shit's expensive.
economically, you can't raise a jackalope.
Wait. Would a jackalope eat grass or like have a certain like diet?
Man, let's see. I would imagine that it has a certain diet, but grass is part of that diet.
All right. So when you think of jackalope, what do you think of?
Think of a fucking rabbit with antlers.
Not like a deer's head?
Nope, not like a deer's head.
Because that'd be more like not a centaur. No.
That'd be more like selective breeding, I think.
Yeah, that's a monstrosity that should not exist. But
It's something that created in a lab and got away, like COVID.
well, hi YouTube. So because I said cryptids at first because I know you like that stuff. You like the Bigfoot. You like all that.
Absolutely. I love hearing because I feel that our world that we're kind of in is a little bit boring, and whether or not these things are real, they kind of spice it up, you know?
Yeah.
Like you go to the woods and people are like, oh man, I'm seeing normal ass wildlife. But then they hear a tree snap and there's an ape man there. It's like, dude, that's so fucking cool. That's up my alley. And it could be real. It could not be real. Who knows? I really hope that some of these things are. And for the most part, I hope some of these things aren't. I hope these motherfuckers don't exist, you know?
Get a Yeti. You're just trying to you're already in like the frozen tundra, starving, and then freaking Yeti. You have to you're like, can you just kill me? Like,
But he's got to be casual, so
Yeah.
just walks past you.
Yeah. Dude, if a fucking Yeti walked by me and didn't see a reason to fucking eat me, I'd be like, dude, my life is a lie.
seriously, look. Oh, I'm a vegan. It's like, even the Yeti.
He's going to look at you.
And you
no one
speak
believes you.
English?
I'm telling you, he's going to walk by you and go, no one believes you.
Yeah.
He's going to walk away.
No, what that would happen to me.
I know.
I would literally walk into like some asylum somewhere and just ghosts and shit everywhere, and I'd walk out. You guys would walk in, and there's nothing. It's like, and then I'd walk back in, just shit everywhere.
Just be
This isn't fair.
Yeah. We're not seeing what Tyler's seeing. Something floats right behind us, and he's all,
What the fuck?
He's gonna be like, okay, you guys don't see it when you guys walk in. Let's walk in together. We walk in together. Nothing happens. Okay, come on, dude.
No,
come
like,
on.
dude, it's so. Let me put it to you in a way that is
Cool.
Very, very cool. Yeah. Tyler has seen some shit that I haven't seen. We've both been in the exact same place at the exact same time.
Here's the problem. I haven't seen shit. I've been around when shit has happened, and I see none of it.
Yeah.
I'm like unlucky with that stuff. I know we've gone over that before.
Or very lucky if you're in my position. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to see that shit. Oh,
I don't know. You're good. I want to see it. He is the opposite of me. He goes, no, I'm good. I don't need to see any of that. I don't need to know He likes the stories, but he doesn't want to be in the story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here's the real talk, right? Like, I want to hear it. I want to know about it. It's like if your neighbors are fighting, you kind of want to put your ear to the window and kind of see or kind of poke out. You don't want to be involved in the domestic abuse. Like, that's my personal, like, experience.
And that's fair.
I do want to say, though, that he said he wanted to do a podcast in Skinwalker Ranch. I don't want to be that guy.
I said
He
of
was a soft yes.
You shut your whore mouth.
I was there. I heard him. He's like, "Oh, I want to walk alone. I can fucking do it. I know
I
what
wanted
I'm
to be
doing."
alone.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to go
Yeah.
see people by myself. You
You're-
know? All that shit. He was a soft yes for sure.
He called us babies.
Your saggy fucking tits, I did.
Hey.
Hey.
So okay, since you don't want to be in the stories, what is your like biggest nope? Like oh, you want to go in the building? Nah, I'm good. What is your, or like, you want to go in the forest when you hear shit?
Hauntings.
Hauntings?
Hauntings.
That's your.
I have a love-hate with hauntings. Like, I love to hear the places that are haunted, and I love to hear people's experience, but I don't want to be in that motherfucker. I don't want to be haunted. Like, that's like, okay, so to me, it's like being at the movies, right? You're being able to watch the movie itself, but like, if you realize that you're in the actual movie, like, the buildings are blowing up all around you and you have to run, that sucks. Like,
Aaron
that's
doesn't
not
want to
fun.
be in the building that Superman is being thrown through.
Yeah.
like he doesn't want to be that guy.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, fucking for real? Like, let's put it. But honestly, it's really fun for me to kind of hear and see people's experience. I think some of them are absolute bullshit, and then I think some of them are like, hey man, he's like, there's a lot of that can't be explained.
Okay, what's your biggest no? Like, there's no way this is real.
No way this is real. I would say it would have to be, I mean, vampires.
No, no vampires.
No vampires. There's medical vampirism, and I get that. That part's like, okay.
But like, you're
But,
talking
like,
the legend.
I'm
all
talking
that.
about the legend, right?
Do you go as far as like werewolves and stuff too?
I think werewolves could be the case.
But
I
not
think-
vampires.
Not vampires.
Why? Why do you distinguish?
Okay, so the traditional vampire that we talk about, allergic to the sun, there's certain aspects of it that can and can't be explained. There's legends all around that have kind of this thing, but the one thing that everybody says about werewolves is like, hey, they were fast, they stood up, and I got the fuck out of there. Like, that part to me makes a ton of sense.
So it's more that there's more stories,
There's
like
more-
legends of the
right.
vampire, where you're like, nah. Then werewolves are kind of like, hey,
Right.
they
One of the ones that
kind of
I
just transform.
read through the most was like Beast of Bray Road, right? They go through Bray Road all the time out in Michigan, and all of a sudden, like, there's sightings of this. There's people who claim it, but everything kind of dates back to, like, even in the church, there's people there was a saint that was a dog that, a dog-headed person that turned back into a regular human. There's been the dog-headed people, there's been sightings of this dating back to, they have pictures of it, they have paintings of it. There are people who have, like, firsthand witnesses of these things happening. There's fur that they have that, like, doesn't really match anything, which to me is still kind of like, that's not really evidence, because, just because it doesn't register in your system, there could be
doesn't mean
multiple
anything.
variables.
And just because it doesn't register in your system, it could be corrupted.
Yeah.
Or there's not enough DNA to give you a full sample, so it just comes back as nothing.
It's like, dude, come on.
you-
But my absolute favorite is the fact that when people talk about vampires, it'll be something like, he didn't cast a reflection in the mirror. It's like, how long were you looking at him in the mirror, you fucking stalker? Like, what were you,
You
like?
just pass by and you just didn't see it.
He's damaged by wooden stakes. Hey Todd, you
Yeah,
hit me, bro.
everybody's damaged by a stake if you stab him hard enough. He's like,
I stabbed
okay,
him in the
well,
heart. He was a
yeah,
vampire.
he's allergic to garlic. That's reasonable. That can be explained. He has an allergy.
Yeah, he doesn't like garlic bread. It's okay. That doesn't mean he's a vampire.
The only way you can kill him is with a silver stake. First of all, Todd, if you hit me with a silver stake, I'm gonna die, dude.
First of all, he dresses weird. So does all the they/thems. Like, let's just leave it at that. All right. Like, come on, man.
But you don't even have to do that. Like, oh well, he doesn't like going outside in the sun. Yeah, he lives in Arizona.
Yeah. My biggest thing
He's
is
just
like,
Andy.
because there's certain things that
Hey.
like are obvious, right? Like the
Stop it.
biggest between all of them is a vampire has to be invited in,
Yeah.
right?
That's common courtesy.
Or you have to or they have to catch him outside, whatever.
How about
Wouldn't
that?
there be like a lot more fucking vampire attacks? Like you'd imagine there'd be a lot more.
Well,
and
that's the whole thing where
maybe,
they think they cover it up and all that stuff.
yeah. But maybe maybe that's true, man. I mean, we always had a fascination with vampires, werewolves, things that go bump in the night. You know, that's our huge thing. Like even with
We are the
what
ones
is
who
it,
bump back.
the hidden valley syndrome, is it?
Hidden Valley
Uncanny
syndrome.
Valley.
What?
With Uncanny Valley.
Oh,
where
Uncanny
it's-
Valley.
Yeah.
Like Hidden Valley. I'm like, you want ranch? Like,
No.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, damn, you hungry, man?
yes, dude.
I'm kind of
We'll
famished.
eat
That was
after the episode. Just stay.
Now the
Man,
question
all
is-
this talk about steaks.
Right? Now the question is, what would you rather be turned into, a vampire or a werewolf?
Neither, man. Fuck both of that.
Werewolf. Less drawbacks.
Really?
Yes.
Did not.
When most werewolf stories, they don't have to adhere to anything like a vampire does. They could just, they don't have to be, like Aaron just said, let in. They don't have to worry about the sun. They don't have to, they still feed. They both have that, but it's not like permanent debuff.
The whole letting in the vampire thing is hilarious to me. It's like, it's common courtesy, bro. I'm not gonna just march. I'm here, bitch.
They have the same thing with skinwalkers, where you have to let them in. You can't.
Though
That shit
that's another.
frightens me, bro. The skinwalkers, that shit frightens me.
That's another thing. And don't get me wrong, the real ones that they talk about, the real shit that comes from their legends, that's terrifying. Not this like stuff that has been going on like social media where they make them like big deer-headed people. It's like, no, they appear as like giant coyotes. They appear as shit that's like average but a little off.
So to where you wouldn't realize that, like, if you saw them at first, you wouldn't know that it wasn't a wolf.
Yeah.
Like
But
it's not just parts
You have
of
to
them that
focus
change.
on them.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, that's not a wolf. That's
It's like, have you ever seen the
That's-
movie The Thing?
the thing,
When
yes.
the
Yeah.
thing is the dog and it's clearly not acting like a dog, it'd be like that. It's like, no,
that's-
that thing's not a dog.
Yeah.
That's a person. That's something else.
So, I mean, and to be honest, like, you know, I get it because, like, you know, it seems kind of everything that we talk about is kind of weird. Everybody has their own personal beliefs. What can be, what can't be, you know, the lengths that we could go to in order to come up with theories and to how make these things real and how to make these things unreal. My biggest thing here is that at some point, you have to look at it and be like, is this feasible? Is it possible? Mm-hmm. Because if it's 0%, then it can't be. You know, there's no amount of logic that can be behind it. If there's 1% or less, even if there's 0.01 hundredths of a
It
chance,
still counts.
it's still like, okay, we have to eliminate everything beforehand. I thoroughly believe that there is paranormal and supernatural activity in the world. What I don't believe is that it's as often as people think.
No, it's at best is like these are like one-off cases.
Right.
Like because if it is the way they say it is, we would have more evidence.
Yeah. Like, let me give you an example. Bigfoot, one of our favorites. Okay.
I think he's in here.
Did you know? Yeah. Where is he? Did you know
Hear him
that
whispering.
Bigfoot,
Yep.
that Bigfoot can be invisible and turn into dust specks?
Same. I can too.
I'm sorry,
Prove
what?
it. Prove I can't. Aaron
Bigfoot,
can.
the Sasquatch, he
Yep.
can turn invisible and he
Homeboy.
can turn into dust specks.
Yep.
I believe that Bigfoot's presence is always around us.
Mm-hmm. He's always been there for me.
Always.
Yep.
All hail Bigfoot.
Yep.
Now, there are some people who take that a little bit too extreme, like the person who was kidnapped and raped by a female Sasquatch.
Raped is a strong word. I don't think it was that
I-
non-consensual.
I am fucking flabbergasted that someone was like, So what she did was she grabbed my big old dangle. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, no,
She
that's
started
one of those
taking
like,
off my
bro,
pants.
Was she fine though? Like that's not.
No,
good.
she was fuzzy. That's no, like it's that's the one I don't believe in
I
the most is
can't.
the Bigfoot.
It's hard because like you get people who are like, okay, I genuinely believe your experience, okay, and then the person next to him was like, I seen it too. It
He
stole.
talked to me. He talked to me in the trees.
I love that all these people you're mentioning are like rednecks.
That's the problem. No, they're just
Now, there's some people out there. There was one where we were watching it where he was talking about how Bigfoot snapped like a branch and left it in the way because he accidentally stumbled on the children and then left them alone. And he was like, so what he did is that he snapped a branch and gave it to me like a present to let him know that I was peaceful and that we were peaceful. And it's like, okay, so out of all the gifts in the world, he was just like, let me snap this tree branch.
he'll know what it means.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me because we brought it up on the podcast like so many times with the freaking moth and they think it's a Bigfoot. Like in the Aaron was the one that was watching it with me. He had to suffer through this thing. You remember more of this stupid fucking video than I do, and I literally like it was like a time vortex for me because I was just like from the beginning when we're just watching these crazy people talk about Bigfoot. And we're not saying, like, if you believe in Bigfoot, you're crazy. We're not saying that. These people are crazy.
Yeah, it's so...
It was beyond... I can handle a level of woo. This was... when me and him are both going, what the fuck? That means it's off the chart. It's cranked past 11. We're like... No.
Oh
no,
my
no,
God.
no, no.
Okay.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And then we got to the point. Me and Aaron, we love bad movies. We've seen a lot of bad stuff. We stopped watching this thing. That's how we were just like, no more. We're not wasting our time. This is crazy.
One thing I'll say, right? Is Bigfoot real? Maybe. Is there packs of animals that maybe we haven't discovered? Yeah, sure, probably. Maybe that's the case, you know. People can have genuine experiences, and I think maybe, like, because you'll see people who are, like, they'll post up their videos, and it's them walking, and something moves behind them, or something standing there kind of staring at them moving. And it's like, is this faked? Is this whatever? And the dude's not, like, paying attention, like, and being like, he's just doing his thing, and then he gets up, picks up his tripod, and keeps walking. And it's like, okay, so he's doing like the Survivor Man thing, and it just happened to catch this. Because it's not like, and it doesn't like focus in, it just stays kind of blurry. And like, so you can be like, okay, is that a trick of the light?
Right.
Is that something else? And then you'll see it like, and it's like, oh.
The videos that I hate is like if you're walking past a couple trees, and then you walked past them, and then suddenly the face pops out. It's like, how did you not see that though? Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know if that's real.
Like, I don't know if that's. How did you not see that? You know what I mean? Like, you could have saw
But
that.
it's only meant for like the camera or whatever. And then that gets into another thing. How does it know what a camera is?
Right.
Why does it know where it's pointed at? That's a whole different thing.
There's one that fucking got me though, and I originally saw it on TikTok. And you can't believe everything you see on TikTok.
No, don't believe anything you see on TikTok.
No. Listen to this one. This one is a haunted piñata store in Mexico. And
Already stopped.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hear me out, okay? The owner got a notice at like 3 a.m.
Of movement.
Of movement. Yeah, it was like a notice of movement, right? And he's like, oh shit, someone's robbing my store. That's his idea. Is someone's robbing his store.
That's normal. That's the first thing. You're
Mexico.
like, oh great. Yeah.
Okay,
That's Mexico.
and then what he does is he turns on this camera, and there's this really ghoulish looking like thing that kind of starts like in the middle. Almost looks like a hunch thing, right? And then it starts lifting up, and its face drags, and its eyes are like fucking reflective. And then he's just like, he looks at this and he goes, oh fuck. But here's the thing. People feel uneasy at the store. He's never mentioned it. He didn't release the video. But, like, stuff has happened before that he was just like, it's whatever. but there are people who would be like dragged away. Like they'd be dragged across the floor. And it's like, oh, fuck.
How
like,
do you have a business?
That's an important question, right? But people like this store is now famous for it. One of the things that he did is that he was like, hey, it's clearly attached to this particular piñata because whenever he fucked with that particular piñata, something would happen negatively. And it would happen to people. And it would be the people who touched that same piñata. He would move the piñata so that way if it was just like a trick or something like that or something going on, but it would be like something bad would happen. Things would be thrown at people from across the room.
That's cool.
And like it's one of those ones that I believe is like, hey, this is genuine because this dude didn't make money on this. He lost money on this. And he's like, yeah. He's like, so I sold I got rid of the piñata. Didn't sell it, got rid of it. And bad shit has been happening a lot. Like really bad shit. He's like, at night he's like, I can't let anybody in the store now. He's like, there's no cleaners or anything like that. Everybody has to do it at the day before I fucking leave.
Yeah, there's no benefit to them.
I'd be the curious one to grab like a bat and go, yeah. Just be honest, see what happens.
I would want to go in there at night.
Yeah, I wanted to.
So he had some and that's some attachment. And I'm paraphrasing and just going off of what I remember. There could be some details there that are different, but honestly, that's kind of something that kind of stuck with me, and strictly because of the fact that like, hey, dude, like, if he's making money on the store and it's become an attraction, okay. Like the store is now famous, but he's like, it's not making money. Like he can't sell it. Like
he's not getting anything out of this. And that's possibly going on.
Yeah, when it's like, okay, you get infamy, that's cool. So why can't I just tell people and they'll come visit the store? Well, first of all, you're in Mexico, a very superstitious culture. They're not going to go to places like that unless they absolutely fucking have to.
Yeah, those are the ones I believe.
Yeah.
Like, not believe, I at least take into consideration because there's no benefit. If you're at a place, it's like, oh, our building is haunted or whatever, I'm like, yeah, and I see the fucking line of people that you're trying to get into the building so you can charge them $5 a ticket. Yeah, I don't believe you.
One thing that really is one of those ones that kind of like where I believe them are like the asylums, like the old abandoned asylums, and they have them like
because there's been enough bad there.
There's been enough bad there, and there's been like so it's obviously like, hey, there are things that are abandoned. First of all, disclosure. Please don't go visit abandoned places. It's very dangerous. Not because of the fact it's paranormal, but because of the fact that the building is in disrepair.
And illegal.
And homeless people.
Yep, and homeless people. First of all, the last thing that you want to run into at night is another person. Well, fuck that. It could not even be that they're homeless. It could be that just another person in general.
Why are they there?
Why are they there? And they don't know why you are there. It's a standoff.
Yep.
And that is the scariest. I will tell you left and right, like, yeah, these cryptids, they're scary things. Yeah, these paranormal things are scary things. There's nothing scarier than a human being where they're not supposed to be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a joke, but yeah, it is true. Like it's I completely understand. Don't go do it. It's probably not worth it. Most of the time, by the time you found it, people have already destroyed it.
Yeah.
They've made it work. Instead of it being awesome to go see, they've probably ruined it. So just be like, if you're gonna do it, we don't endorse it, but be careful because, like Aaron just said, it's not the ghost you have to worry about. It's the person.
Yeah, because like, dude, I mean,
it's a guy hiding out there.
Because like, first of all, they're there. If someone has set up shop at those places, they know the place better than you. Mm-hmm. They're clearly like adaptive to the environment, and you have just invaded their territory.
And they're probably going to assume you're going to call the cops on them.
Yeah.
And so they have every reason to stop you.
And that right there is the perfect storm of like, get the fuck out.
And if you didn't tell anyone where you were going,
they have to assume that you didn't, because otherwise there'd be more of you.
Yep.
And to boot that, even if you did, by the time that they would find out that you were there, they'd be gone.
They're gone. Yep.
So just stay away from the abandoned places. stay away from anything that would be dangerous, just really be safe. Because again, we talk, we speculate about ghosts, goblins, fucking anything that's paranormal or supernatural, all conspiracy theories. But at the end of the day, the one thing that's important is everybody's safety. And I can't stress that enough. Like if you're going Bigfoot hunting and squatching and stuff like that, keep in mind that there are hunters out there. So somebody that's dressed in a fucking
don't dress furry.
Yeah. There's going to be people out there who are dressed in their camo and their ghillie suits. So that's something that you can misidentify, but also you're walking into a path of other animals and other hunters. Who's to say that you don't fucking walk across somebody who's not supposed to be out there doing some shit that you don't want to run into?
Yep.
And that's the big fucking issue that a lot of these things have, is there's misidentification. Can anything be attributed to criminal activity? Absolutely. I mean, honestly, if I wanted to do if I wanted to do some crime out in the redwoods, I would dress like Bigfoot and dig a hole and then immediately take off the costume so I don't get shot.
Well, you don't have to do that. If you're trying to hide out even from the law or whatever, you're not going to let that person go home that just saw you. You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And
this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is
no, this is what happens. This is the danger of doing this. And beyond the supernatural, beyond all that, we already covered that, so just be careful. But I find those places fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it's the what if. We always love the what if.
What if?
I just don't.
So
I'm not a believer of that stuff.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Sure.
What cryptid or what kind of paranormal do you believe, or is one of your favorites?
Okay, not believe, but one of my favorites. I've always loved it's the giant birds, like the phoenixes in the sky.
Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds. Yeah. I've always liked those stories because people are like, yeah, I've seen giant ass birds in the sky flying around, and you're like, oh, come on, it's just normal birds, just really small. They're like, no, this was something else.
And the one
Arizona's a big place for thunderbirds.
Yeah.
We have a whole road.
Yeah, we have a whole road.
Yeah, we do. Huh? I was like, yeah.
One of my favorites is the megalodons, or the giant sharks, the ones that aren't supposed to exist.
That's it. That's what I call a nope fish.
Yeah,
nope fish.
There's a series. There's one, and I think it was either Great White Rescue or it was a fishing, where they were down in Mexico. Again, this is Mexico, or the Gulf of Mexico rather, and they were they had caught something a big shark of their own, and they were pulling it up, and all of a sudden you see the fucking the actual metal rigging go like that, and fucking one of the dudes goes like this. He just reaches up and goes and cuts the line.
Good, smart.
And someone was like, "Hey, what's that?" He goes, "That was something bigger."
They've found shit like that now. Where they I think on the one of the last podcasts, me and Sean were actually talking about the giant octopus and stuff.
Yeah.
They always said it was just it's just an old sea story and all this. And then they started finding it, and it's how about you look into this, because some of these stories are not from fishermen telling tall tales. They're actually hey, we actually saw this thing.
Yeah,
there
was a
fisherman
story. There was a fisherman story where he's fishing, and they have the big rig thing, and they have bait on the end of it, and they're pulling it up because they have something, and they're pulling it up, and then they see on the bottom it goes dark, and they're like, oh, what the fuck is that? And it's huge. So they end up pulling it out, and when they pull it out, something does come out. They don't know what it is. They don't know if it's a shark or not, but it was fucking mad, bigger than their boat. And they were like, dude, what kind of fucking shit is that?
Yeah. There's one that they talk about, and it goes to the point of where they were tracking great whites. And this great white was something that they have the movement. It's very pattern-ish, and all of a sudden during one of the seasons they can't find it, and they were like, well, hang on, let's go back to the tracker. And during the season that it wasn't there, you see that it goes from this depth where all the great whites kind of hang out, and then it goes down, 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 gone. and it just stayed there. Like it didn't move. It didn't have anything. So they believe that something had gotten it. And whether or not that was, they were like, well, what can attack a great white? Well, the giant octopus is one for sure. The colossal squid, things like that. Mm-hmm. They can attack sharks. I don't know if they're naturally known to, but
it's probably like a self-defense thing.
Yeah.
The colossal squids usually go for the sperm whales, which is the same size as them relatively.
Well, but
what squid passes up a free meal? Especially like a 30-foot shark or 40-foot shark. Like, that's still pretty decent eating. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now,
did it eat them?
And this could be 100% incorrect just because I'm not a zoologist or an oceanologist, so I don't know these things. But when you hit a certain depth, you're like, well, that's rough.
That's the thing, though. What you just said, that it went lower than where great white would go. Why it wouldn't go down there?
Yeah.
And
it didn't come back neither.
Yeah.
Now, there was one they tagged, a shark that they tagged. They were doing the same. They were monitoring the patterns, and all of a sudden it goes into the middle of the Atlantic, and then it goes boom, and that's what he's talking about, where it just drops, but it's drops further than a lot of even whales go.
But it could have also died, and that's what what they would say.
That's what they were saying. But one of the scientists that actually did it is, I studied marine biology. If anyone didn't know that.
Nope.
One of the scientists that actually tagged the things, they were like, if it dies, the tag reads the vitals.
That it's dead.
So it will just tell you, oh, it's dead. Mm-hmm. It wasn't dead. Or at least not yet.
Taken.
Yeah, it got taken down. So he was like, there's something bigger out there that we don't know.
They've seen that with bigger sharks and stuff, and they're like, oh, what do they eat? And they eat little krill and stuff. They're sharks, but they don't eat other sharks.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we have the whale shark that's huge, but it's a filter feeder. So it doesn't do anything.
It's like plankton or whatever.
But the other thing is that you gotta remember sharks eat other sharks.
Yeah.
So it's
not all of them,
not all of them,
but most of those tags that they have on the sharks read the vitals. So if it's dead and it just goes down, it's like, okay, I know it's dead. There's nothing. We're not even worried about that no more.
Yeah.
But this one was still ticking as it's alive,
and it's
going down rapidly. And it's more rapid than what a shark can handle.
Wouldn't just do that. Yeah,
that can just handle. So that's why they were all panicked about it, because they were like, okay, there's something bigger than what we know.
I did see, and this gets into more xenobiology and stuff. How a lot of scientists we have to have certain conditions for life, and then they find life in volcano, the vents and stuff, little
volcano sharks,
slugs and crabs.
Yeah.
Well, and they're like, we didn't know no life could withstand this heat. We didn't know that this could happen. So they're like, we have to actually reevaluate where life could even begin. Because
what got me was that someone brought this up to me, was that NASA started off as an aquatic research company, right? Mm-hmm. And then after their first mission, they turned to discovering space, and someone said, I wonder what they found in the ocean that they said, hey, we need to get off this motherfucker. Because,
on some real shit, though. What did they find? Because they went immediately, we got to get off this fucking planet.
They show up, they find old Roulier. Right. they find the dreamer.
My ass would fucking pucker.
No, I would be like, yeah, we're going to go to the moon.
The biggest mystery
I don't think there's anywhere you can
hide. Trench. The Mariana Trench is huge and it's deep as hell. That's the biggest mystery. And there's a lot of stories tied into that one too, where where when NASA first started, they threw a submarine or whatever they had as a submarine.
Well, hopefully they didn't throw it.
Right. So try. First of all, take some time and do this. Go to YouTube. Look up the aquatic sounds, the bloop, and Julia.
The bloop is my fascination right now.
Yeah,
I love the bloop.
Julia is 2 times the size of the Empire State Building. Now, they were like, yeah, it's just ice that hit the ground. It's whatever. There are satellites, supposedly, that caught something shifting through the waters at that time. Now, I'm not a smart man. And from this, I'm certainly not a brave man. Fuck all that noise. The moment that I would have picked that up and they've been like, that has to be massive, at least 2 times the size of the Empire State Building. I've been like, we need to get the fuck out of here. I'd have looked at you. I've been like, look, if you don't just make the cognizant decision to fucking leave, I'm gonna shoot you, and we're gonna leave.
Aaron, do you think that would be like a Leviathan?
So, in translation, the Leviathan was the 300-mile serpent, or it was like the 100-mile serpent.
Wasn't it?
No, Leviathan is the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
It's the one in the Bible, right?
The Leviathan's not a snake. It's a whale.
The Leviathan's not a whale.
Yeah, it was.
No, you're thinking of a Leviathan whale, which is a prehistoric dated whale.
Oh.
You're thinking of like what Moby Dick was.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, the Leviathan whale is different than the Leviathan. See, in Jewish folklore, the Leviathan was created back during the creation of the earth, and it was put to dominate the seas. Think of it like a giant sea dragon that can't be harmed in any way, shape, or form. It is...
That will literally be around till the end of time.
Yeah, the only person that can slay it is God, pretty much. It's described as this just horrid monster that you can't catch on a fish hook, that when it stirs, so does the sea. It causes tidal waves in its wake. This thing is said to be fucking massive, and that when it wakes up, it's pretty much the sign. Yeah, it's not a good thing. There's in Jewish folklore, its counterpart is the behemoth. The behemoth is the giant of the earth, right? Its breath smells of iron. Earthquakes happen when it walks. Basically, like when this thing wakes up, the Leviathan and the behemoth are going to fight. And that's going to be the sign of the end of the earth. God will slay them both, and a new kingdom will be made. Yeah. And that's from the Jewish folklore and belief. That's something from their end. You can read about it a little bit more. Obviously, it depends on person to person what they actually believe versus the folklore back in the day.
But it's interesting that just the giant. We've always loved giant animals.
Yeah,
we've always loved that stories of that. Like, no, I saw a giant ass.
Like the giant spiders in the jungle.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the story of the giant moth?
Mothman?
No, not Mothman, but the giant moth.
Oh, Mothra.
Apparently this guy goes like safaring, I guess, and he's trying to discover something, and he looks at a tree and he goes, "What the hell is that?" And the tree seems to be moving, and he goes, "What the fuck?" And then the wings come out, and it's a huge ass moth.
Yeah, that's Mothra.
Yeah.
Mothra.
Back in the yeah.
Turns out the giant ant, where he sits on, another guy sits on a log, and it gets up and starts walking. He goes, "What the fuck?"
But the thing is that here's what I don't believe about the ant, because if that's the case, the ant would have taken you. Your food.
That's what I said.
And there'd be more than one. It's an ant.
Yeah.
You would have noticed.
Like a giant spider, I can definitely get behind, because those things can get big.
Have you seen Papua New Guinea, bro? Have you seen the spiders
or
there?
the snakes?
No, the giant snakes, the ones that they claim to see like from the sky. Mm-hmm. That one I can buy, because there's no cap. There's no cap to that. Like,
especially at a place like Papua New Guinea, Madagascar, the Galapagos Islands and stuff like that, where there's no hint of man. You know what I mean?
Well, man's not the problem. It's all the other predators. And if they get so big, or even the other predators are like, yeah, no, I'm not risking myself to try and kill this thing.
Yeah.
You're good. There'd be no stopping them growing until they die.
But there is one that people claim is like they still have like the dinosaur,
skeleton?
The Brontosaurus, where it's like supposedly they're out there and like some native tribes know about them. I think it's like in Brazil or South America or some shit like that. But they basically know of them because people were explaining dinosaurs, and they're like, yeah, they're still around. Like, and then they take them and go fucking, like, I guess they find them and they're like, what the fuck? And they're not as big as they were back in the day, but they're there. They look exactly like it. They're still just as big.
That's cool.
And my big thing is that, remember the Tasmanian tiger?
Mm-hmm.
That was extinct. Now it's not. Mm-hmm. The dire wolf was extinct. Now it's not. There's shit that's coming back, and it's starting to fucking irritate me because we were the top of the food chain for a minute. You know what I mean?
We're not no more.
Yeah, we're not anymore.
We haven't been for a minute.
Like that's the part that irritates me.
Yeah,
Is
you're
like,
just asking to be eaten.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
like
they all say like they want to bring back the mammoth, right?
who?
Guys, this ain't Elden Ring.
Hold on,
You
hold
don't
on,
need to make
listen.
bosses out in the wild.
Right. They want to make
you
the mammoth
imagine?
again, right? Because they go, oh well, when the mammoths were around, the humans could take over. Like we were able to take over. I was like, first of all, do you understand the evolution that we had from then to now?
I would eat a mammoth.
Not
steak.
just that. Let's take it like this. Ready? You are talking about. Look at an elephant, right? Steps on a human, they're dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Splat.
The elephants are intelligent. Mammoths were intelligent. Mammoths were way bigger than elephants. And let me explain to you that if I go skiing in the Alps and a fucking health bar pops up and fucking fight music, if I make it out, I'm going to go visit some scientists.
Dude,
Right.
That's
I
it.
would be so mad. Just giant tusk like walks out of the tree line. I'm like, nope. I'm mad at you.
But see,
Yeah.
and
I
I
that's
thought
what
I was
makes me-
safe from
but that-
elephants again.
But that's what makes me mad. That's what makes me mad. Like they go, oh yeah, well humans used to take out mammoths all the time. That's why they're extinct.
In packs.
It's like
Yeah.
first of all, do you understand that cavemen used to run after saber-tooth tigers? Run. I don't know how fast you can run or how fast you can run.
Yeah.
We
But-
we got Costco now. We don't have to do that anymore.
Exactly. So
Like-
we de-evolutionized where we don't have to run like that no
What?
more.
What was that
Yeah.
word?
De-evolutionize?
De-evolutionized.
Yeah. What did I say?
No.
That's what you said, and that's
So
not
it's
correct.
not de-evolution. We actually evolved to where we don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Right, but we don't have the same things that we had to
No,
take
No,
out
no,
a
no,
saber-tooth
no,
tiger.
no.
Tiger.
There is people that get up from the couch, Andy.
Wow.
Look,
All right, I'm gonna press stop recording now.
so check this, right? And this is why we say evolved versus devolved, because back then they had their bones and muscle structure set to their environment. When that stopped being the case, they started making their own environments to adapt to. So they started using their brains. They started doing things that were like very intelligent. And to that extent, that's how you kind of get to modern man. We don't have to go to places to get
But we
our
can.
food, but we
still can. We've never evolved past that point.
Yeah.
Our brains did. Our bodies never did. We still have the same bodies that they do.
Could you fight a saber-tooth tiger?
Once.
That's what I'm saying. Like yeah, we're more advanced and everything like that, but none of us can
Yeah.
take on a saber-tooth
Yeah,
tiger.
because
Andy,
there's no need anymore.
they
yeah,
didn't.
but cavemen back in the day used to, but that's why they want to
They wouldn't
reanimate.
go
I-
against
so-
the
so
saber-tooth
listen,
tiger
listen,
if they
listen,
had-
listen,
They
listen,
wouldn't
listen.
hunt it.
So
they would actually.
Andy, the whole idea that cavemen ran after them was not the case. What they used to do is walk after them. There was no point in them running. They would walk because their energy was pretty much endless. So they would stalk their prey to death. Even saber-toothed tigers, they would walk after them.
They wouldn't walk. They would jog. We're joggers. They would just keep going, and then the deers would eventually tire because the deers take it off, and we just keep going. And they would literally, like what Aaron is correct about, is literally the animal would pretty much fall over exhausted, and then we come and stab it.
And that would
We
be
just
it.
wait.
Yeah. We could outpace them. And that was our biggest adaptivity. So like, you know how you see in like the movies, the comics and stuff like that, they're like, boom, they're like taking off and running. That's not the case. Truth be told, they were stronger. The Neanderthals were stronger. They were built more to take on stronger things. But at the same time, they weren't like superhuman where they were like able to punch a meteor to pieces. No, they were still like, if something stabbed them, they were stabbed.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Why are you making fun of my beliefs?
They didn't have to.
because
Good.
they're wrong, motherfucker.
Yeah, good. Good.
No, what I'm saying though is that I think we should all agree that
Yeah.
we shouldn't reanimate all these.
There's
The main point is that, yeah.
Like they want to reanimate a T-Rex. Like, why?
I like that though. The T-Rex thing I don't understand because we've had multiple movies showing why that's a bad idea, but they just keep doing it, whatever. But
It's like, oh, that's cool. I guess Jurassic Park's on the menu now.
Did you hear that they apparently have like an island where that was trying to happen?
course they do.
That wouldn't fucking surprise me at all, man.
Yeah.
That they had
people are
a
dumb.
real island where they were trying to reanimate dinosaurs.
good.
We've been cloning goats since the fucking 80s, my
Yeah,
guy.
Yeah.
seriously, good. I'm all for the Dinosaur Island because this is what we deserve. I hope Dinosaur Island breaks containment.
Right. You know, and then when they did actually clone like a T-Rex, that they did it successfully, and then it got sick, and then
Yeah,
It died.
it's a different environment.
Yeah, and it just died.
So, are more humanoid cryptids, right?
Andy?
Where do we fall on like Mothman and the Jersey Devil? Spring Heel Jack.
Those. I love Spring Heel Jack. I love Mothman. I don't believe any of it.
It's hard for me, man. It really is. Like,
I love the story. It's great stories, but nope.
What is it? There is
Spring Heel Jack is first Superman.
How's this? Ready? Black-eyed children.
Yeah, we've already talked about this. I think the story is awesome. I don't think it's real.
Mothman is real, first of all.
And if Mothman can believe in me, I can believe in him.
For real. For real.
Both of you.
He is there whenever something bad happens. 9/11, he was there.
When the lamp of justice is lit.
Both of you are painful.
In brightest day, in darkest night.
You already did it wrong. So actually, that's a good point to end this episode because, damn, that was bad. All right. Well, I've been Tyler.
I've been Aaron.
And
Hello.
no one cares. And this has been Walking the Weird. And we'll see you next time.